me tell you, the moment they start it is when they will notice that which I cannot discuss on this program. But first of all, some of the parties within NASA have their own internal issues. Ford Kenya has his internal issue, which have not been resolved. They are still in court. ANC also has their own internal issues, which they have not resolved, which I'm privy to. And this is not the right time for them to do what they want to do. It is going to embarrass them. No wonder that's why they want to go to court. They want to go to court so that they can demonstrate to the registrar of political parties that there is a dispute. Because if you want to dissolve a coalition, you must demonstrate that there is a dispute. And what better way to demonstrate there is a dispute than going to court? So they are going to court principally because when they want to dissolve, they will tell the registrar that we have a dispute in court. But what is the political value of such a dispute? For me, I don't see any value to them.
Yes.
Because this is a moment of coalition building. If you are going to start a war with Raila Odinga or ODM because of small issues which you could have contributed to, then you are misplaced agenda. Are they trying to tell us that then they want to go and work with Ruto? Are they trying to tell us that they want to isolate Raila from national politics? I think they are misplaced, and I think the people who are advising them, they should tell them to go slow on some of these things.
Yes.
Because one, they are going to get into more legal problems.
Yes.
Two, it is highly unnecessary. 13 months to the election. They should be talking about how to build bigger coalition.
Some of the accusations and allegations are that ODM never shared the money which was released by the political parties, registered political parties, to ODM. That ODM, it was almost attuned to 2 billion shillings that ODM never shared with them. Could this be one of the reasons why they're feeling a bit of disquiet and discomfort in the NASA coalition?
I told you I know quite a lot about what happened.
Is the money issue still mad?
First of all, I want to say that the coalition agreement that was signed had a lot of ambiguity. It did not have clarity on many issues. One of the issues that they did not have clarity was on sharing of funds. Why is it that we do not have a problem with the CORD coalition? Do you know that CORD coalition, they still share money to debt? CORD coalition that ran from 2013 to 2017. Because the agreement was watertight. It was very clear on how they were going to share funds. This party was going to get this party was going to get this, and this party was going to get
So are the loopholes intentional?
I'll come to that.
Okay.
CORD coalition, remember we still have arrears coming through.
Yes.
The 4 trillion that ODM got, they have not been given yet. They still share the money to debt with the other coalition partners. That is Ford Kenya and Wiper.
Yes.
Now, it is the NASA one which is in contention. The contention is because, one, the agreement is ambiguous, the agreement lacks clarity, and I can tell you on this studio, and I want ANC people to come here one day with me on this studio, and I tell Kenyans the truth. Before they went to sign that agreement, as the Secretary General of the party, I told them this agreement is ambiguous, we need to amend. They refused. They said they will cross the bridge when we reach there. So what they are doing now is that crossing the bridge. They ignored it. So the agreement was faulty from the word go. Number two, remember we had 2 presidential elections. We had the presidential election of August 2017.
Yes.
And then we had the repeat election of October 2017.
Yes.
So the data that is being used to compute the political parties' fund share between Jubilee and NASA
was for the general election.
Was for the repeat election.
For the repeat election.
Now that one, you know, NASA never participated.
Yes.
Which means the data they are using to compute the political parties fund somehow does not give NASA money for the presidential vote. They don't get that money. They only get money for the other seats. That is women rep, MCA, governor, senator, and MP. Now the argument ODM has is that you contested against us in various parts of the country.
Right, yes.
So it is unfair for you to come and say you also want a share of the money arising from our votes of MP, MCA, and the rest. I think they are justified. If they were going to use data for August presidential election, then the other parties would be justified to demand a share of that money because of their contribution of the votes to the presidential basket. And that is why I'm saying if they went to court, they will lose the case. First of all, the argument is not clear. Two, the data being used is for October 2017, where NASA did not participate. So there is no data.
Before I also lose my job, let's just take a break before we lose the data of the show. Again, let's take a break, and when we come back, we still have that conversation because it's now the three NASA principals vow to not dissolve NASA and of course sue ODM over a myriad of issues. We still have Honorable Godfrey Osotsi here. We are still trying to understand more because he says that he's a person who registered NASA. We'll be right back with more after this break. Stay around. And still here, we are still continuing with our discussion, and with me is Honorable Godfrey Osotsi of ANC Party, nominated Member of Parliament. We are still continuing with that conversation on the attempt by some NASA principals, that is Kalonzo Musyoka of Wiper, Moses Wetangula of Ford Kenya, and Musalia Mudavadi, honorables of Wiper, of ANC Party. They are threatening, one, to dissolve NASA, and two, to sue ODM. Now, Mheshimiwa, before we went on a break, you're saying that there's some ambiguous clauses which you are privy to, and therefore it's going to be a very big court battle for them to pull away from NASA, right?
Yeah, I said that, what they are trying to do is that when they present their papers to the registrar of political parties, one of the things that the registrar would want them to demonstrate is that is there a dispute? And if there is a dispute, how far have you gone trying to resolve the dispute internally? That would be the first requirement. The second requirement is the registrar will look at the papers they have submitted. And one of the things that the registrar will look at is whether the papers are in order or not. For example, the process of entry into a coalition is not different from the process of exit from our coalition. One of the things, for example, in party constitution is that coalition have to be approved by party organs. You will have a NEC. After NEC, you go to a governing council. After governing council, you go to National Delegates Convention. So they have to demonstrate that they consulted the organs of the party. Now, with COVID, do they have the capacity to do National Delegates Convention? The answer is no. And some of these parties have internal challenges. I know Ford Kenya has a challenge. There are two factions in Ford Kenya. There is the Wamunyinyi faction and there is Wetangula's faction. And the court ruled the status quo remains, meaning that for now Wetangula is the party leader and Eseli Simiyu is the Secretary General. So a coalition has to be signed, or an exit from a coalition has to be signed by the Secretary General. I signed the coalition agreement of NASA as the Secretary General of ANC. So already they have internal issues which they remain unresolved. ANC to date, they don't have a Secretary General. So who is going to sign the coalition agreement for them? And number two, ANC people are in office illegally. And I told them.
Why so?
They are in office illegally. Their term of office expired on the 13th of July.
Of last year?
Yes. And we told them to do elections. They didn't do election. What they did is that they went and changed the party constitution clandestinely to extend their term in office by 5 years.
Yes.
That constitution remains ineffective until they hold a national delegates convention, which they cannot. So all of them, starting with the Mudavadi himself, to the other officials, they are in office illegally. And if they want to attempt to go to court, let them first of all sort out internal issues. Because we will also take them to court over ANC matters. And I want to make this very clearly. You cannot be accusing others when internally in your own house you have issues. So this party have issues. I don't know about Wiper, but at least Wiper, we know their things have been moving on well. So Ford Kenya and the ANC, they should be more concerned about internal issues than even NASA. And we have not even gone to the issue of agreements. And I think what is making them to rush to dissolve NASA is because they have realized they need to formalize their marriage in One Kenya Alliance. Because they cannot be in two coalitions. And for them to formalize their marriage in One Kenya Alliance,
you have to quit one alliance.
They must divorce NASA. So that they marry One Kenya Alliance. Now, there is a challenge there. KANU has an agreement with the
Jubilee Party.
So what is going to happen to KANU? So that's why I said whatever they are engaging in is completely misplaced, ill-advised, and happening at the wrong time. They would rather spend their energy on productive things, like maybe looking for new friends, strengthening their party. Like ANC has not done elections. They have not done elections. They are very good on media, talk shows and all that, but there is no officials of the party across the country.
There's an article here says that the three leaders, that is Kalonzo Musyoka, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, Moses Wetangula, and of course Musalia Mudavadi, the three leaders are already working on papers to have the coalition disbanded over what they term as irreconcilable political mistrust. Now, Mudavadi yesterday said, and I quote, that a technical team was already working on the matter, suggesting that they could soon file withdrawal papers with the office of the registrar of political parties. Now, he said that there were certain procedural issues that they have to address before dissolving the moribund coalition. The keyword is moribund coalition.
Yes, but I'm happy now he's referring to procedural issues. The procedural issues are the ones I'm referring to. The registrar will need to be certified. One, there is a dispute. Two, have the party organs been consulted in line with your own constitution? Three, the outstanding issues, have they been dealt with? In the case of Ford Kenya, you will want to know, have they finished the court case? Who is the Secretary General? If Eseli Simiyu is not part of the signatories of that exit, then they will have problems. For ANC, they will be told, who is your Secretary General? Maybe they will appoint one today or tomorrow. But again, as I said, they are in office illegally, starting with Mudavadi himself. Any Kenyan or any member can go to court and question their existence in office. Because
of the party constitution.
The new constitution, they are saying, is not yet effected. They have to call a national delegates convention. And how will they call a national delegates convention without doing elections? That is why we told them to do elections and they refused. They instead used an easier route to go and change the constitution of the party and extend their period for 5 years. And now we are reminding them, you are still in office illegally. So if they go to court on the NASA thing, we will also go to court on ANC issues.
Okay. Now, the story here is that Ford Kenya party leader Moses Wetangula is being quoted saying that he's been trying to reach a deal with ODM leader Raila Odinga on the sharing of the funds hit a dead end after leaving with no option but now to seek legal redress. It says that he's been trying to reach Raila for over 6 months now.
That I don't know about that, but what I know, ODM mandated Honorable Paranya to reach out to the party leaders with a view of resolving this matter. And a committee was formed. Apparently only Wiper responded to the request. The other parties did not respond. So I think when they go to court, they must be alive to that fact that they were invited to a meeting which they never turned up. Only Wiper turned up, but later on Wiper snubbed the subsequent meetings. So that will be evidence about the attempt that ODM made to try and reach out to their partners.
So what's now left for the three party leaders? Because ODM seems to be sitting pretty easy.
I think they are confused. That is what I can say. Two, they are not properly advised. If I was advising them, I would ask them to just leave this matter, let it take a political course, and let it rest like that. Because if they go to court, it will become what Wetangula said. It's going to be noisy, it's going to be messy, and with the casualties. Because I can clearly see, as a person who understands political parties act and political parties regulation, I can clearly see they are going to get into legal landmines which will not favor them. Two, they do not need to antagonize ODM. Remember, ODM is a key member of the handshake. These parties and these party leaders, they were initially opposed to the handshake. Remember, they said Raila never informed them about the handshake, and they called Raila all manner of names. But eventually, with the time, they joined Raila in the handshake. So they are actually outsiders in the handshake, because the handshake is between ODM and Jubilee. That is Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. So if they start this kind of thing, they will basically be antagonizing the handshake. And I don't think President Uhuru Kenyatta will be happy with that. So that is why I said this move is ill-advised, it is ill-timed, and it is highly unnecessary. I wouldn't advise them to go that direction. Now, and there are consequences. For example, the moment they withdraw from NASA, the first effect will be National Assembly and Senate. Because currently, we are holding positions in Parliament courtesy of NASA.
You will be casualties.
We will be casualties. The three parties combined, they have about 42, 43 members of Parliament. That is still lower than the numbers of ODM in National Assembly. So what will happen is that the Speaker will simply give a ruling and say that now ODM will operate as a single minority party in National Assembly. And then we will have a third coalition called One Kenya Alliance, which doesn't have the numbers. So what will happen is that Honorable Robert Mbui, the Kadiani Member of Parliament, who is currently the deputy of Mbadi, as a deputy minority leader, he's going to lose that slot. It will go to an ODM person automatically. The Mutula Kilonzo Jr., who is now the minority whip in Senate, he's going to lose the position. It will go to an ODM member. The Honorable Macau, who is member for
is it Mavoko?
Mavoko. He's the chairman of sports committee. He's going to lose that position, and that position will go to
in other words, the ripple effect, should they withdraw from the coalition, the ripple effect will be
massive.
Huge.
It will be massive. And what does that mean? It means you cannot control parliamentary agenda, legislative agenda.
Because you don't have numbers.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
A few months to an election. Every party wants to control a legislative agenda. You are running away from a legislative agenda. Are you serious? So that will be the effect. Because I think in their minds they are saying, we will leave it to ODM to decide whether they want to chase us or whether they want... No.
Yeah.
Once the speaker makes a ruling and says, we have received a coalition agreement, it is confirmed from the registrar of political parties, a coalition agreement from One Kenya Alliance.
Yes.
And we have also received documents indicating that NASA has dissolved. Then he will look at the numbers. Then ODM has higher numbers in the National Assembly. So they can either become a minority party by being a single party or being a coalition. Right now, we are a minority party as a coalition.
As a coalition.
So if that dissolves, then ODM comfortably occupies the minority position as a single party.
Could this be the reason why KANU chairman Gideon Moi was stepped out of the One Kenya Alliance?
Yes, because you know KANU has an agreement with
the Jubilee.
With Jubilee.
Yes.
So they cannot sign another agreement. And remember, KANU is enjoying positions in National Assembly and Senate, courtesy of that coalition. Honorable Pogisho is a majority leader in Senate. Honorable Kamket is the chair of delegated legislation, courtesy of that arrangement.
Yes.
So KANU does not want to lose that comfort by taking them to some anonymous arrangement. They will not ready. They are not ready to do that. And another thing, which if I was advising them, I would advise them not to do, is that they are in their mind is that they want to form a coalition, One Kenya Alliance, so that they go and make another coalition with the maybe Jubilee. That cannot work.
To have a bargaining power.
Because a coalition cannot make a coalition with another coalition. It's not possible in law. A coalition is for parties, not coalitions. You cannot say One Kenya Alliance wants to make a coalition with the NASA. It doesn't work in law. It has to be political
parties.
So that is another danger they are putting themselves, because in their mind they're imagining if we come together we will have numbers.
Then you can have bargaining power.
We will have bargaining power. Yes, you will have the numbers, but legally that is not enforceable. You have to be individual parties joining, making a coalition, not coalitions making another coalition.
So if it happens that the coalition sails through, what will be the repercussion to the members of parliament? Will they have to lose certain members of parliament because they feel like they're now threatened? Because just months to an election, and you have got party wrangles and court battles and what have you, will they have to suffer the consequences of now? Okay, the whole party has been dissolved, Jubilee, ANC on this end, Ford Kenya and what have you, and again on that side we have. Will they lose members of parliament to other political parties come next election?
No. What the immediate repercussion is what I said.
In parliament,
we will have to reorganize committees so that now One Kenya Alliance will be given some slots to fill their members. And the ODM will remain with their slots. Remember now we have ODM members who are serving in one committee. Others don't even have committee because they have donated that to other coalition members. But this time now ODM will be very comfortable to have their committees to share among themselves. So that will be the first repercussion. The second one, as I said, parliamentary leadership. They're going to lose. They're going to lose those slots.
All right. So in other words, as it stands right now, your advice is that they should go slow on this, and as you correctly put it,
my advice is that the move is ill-timed, the move is ill-advised, and highly unnecessary. And if I was advising them, I'll tell them, gentlemen, we have only 13 months to the election. We better spend our energy elsewhere. This is going to be what is called negative energy. It's going to exhaust them. They are going to be fighting a party which is in the handshake, and I don't think even Jubilee led by Uhuru will be happy with them.
Okay, Mheshimiwa, let's leave that. Let's take a break, and when we come back, let's talk about the state of economy. Bei ya unga imepanda, bei ya gas imepanda, sasa Mkenya tutakula nini? Let's talk about that when we come back, because I know Mwananchi is also waiting to see how, you know, the taxes and the legislation. You are the members of parliament, you pass certain taxes, and now the Mwananchi is going to feel that effect. Let's take a break, and we'll discuss more when we come back. Welcome back, and that is a live feed from the Supreme Court. We have Chief Justice Martha Koome making her first and maiden appearance at the Supreme Court since she was sworn in as the Chief Justice. And of course, from the course list here, she'll be hearing and taking charge of certain cases. We have got certain cases at the Supreme Court. There you have it, and she'll be making certain appearances. Remember, now the Supreme Court is now fully constituted after what is happening there, and of course, once that procedure kicks in effectively, we will go live at the Supreme Court to give you more details on what's happening there. All right, still coming to the tail end of this discussion is with me here is Honorable Godfrey Osotsi. We're still talking about matters, politics, and of course you need to know what is happening. Mheshimiwa, let's talk about issues, you know, economy, and the common Mwananchi is crying foul. In the local dailies, you know, the taxman is saying that the price of unga is likely to go up, the price of cooking gas and oil and what have you. Have you reached a point that the common Mwananchi is now feeling like, you know, the pocket is empty? We need some reprieve.
Well, it's a desperate situation. I know a lot of Kenyans are suffering because of high prices of commodities, and it's really biting hard. I know there are so many families which are really suffering. Some don't even have something to eat because they can't afford, and that's really a big challenge. There are many factors to this. One factor is, of course, the pandemic in which we are in has affected our economy negatively in many ways. And it's not just Kenya, but globally, it's a problem that is affecting even big nations, US and the others. Then we have the issue of IMF conditions. IMF conditionalities are really affecting. In fact, they were contributed a lot to the finance bill 2021 that we passed in Parliament, because one of the conditionalities of IMF is for the government to increase the tax base, and ensure that we are able to sustain some of the programs that we are running. The second thing is the budget itself. It was very ambitious, and now we are talking about KRA needs to get at least 2 trillion Kenya shillings, up from 1.6 trillion shillings, which was their target last year. So because of that, I think they have to increase taxes so that to meet those targets. And those are some of the factors which are contributing to the problem we are having. And of course, general problem of management the economy. We've been talking about public debt. Public debt, we have to pay our debts. Now, when you want to pay the debts, you need money to pay the debts.
Yes.
Where do you get the money? You increase taxes so that you get money to pay the debts.
Yeah.
So you can see how the overall economic management is now affecting even our common mwananchi, because he has to pay more taxes so that the government can, one, sustain its program and pay its debts.
Yeah.
So the issue of debt is really a big challenge to this country, and I'm hoping that the next government that will come after 2022 will be able to deal with the issue of debt very well. Then, of course, the issue of corruption that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
When we are losing 2 billion shillings a day.
Yeah. It's a lot of money that can be used in the economy.
Yeah, it's a lot of money in the economy.
Yeah.
If that money could be harnessed, then we would not end up charging people more taxes. So that is a problem. And I think a lot of effort should be put into managing corruption in this country so that we save resources.
Yeah.
And the government can get a lot of money.
Yeah.
I brought a motion to Parliament because 4 trillion Kenya shillings is being held in offshore accounts by corrupt Kenyans. If this money came to this country, it will sustain us for 2 financial years.
Yes.
And we will not even require to charge to ask Kenyans to pay more taxes. So really the issue of economic management of this country is key, is very key, and it is more complex than people just standing up and saying a bottom-up approach.
Yeah. Is there hope for a common mwananchi?
There is hope, but we must do our role as citizens very well, by ensuring that the leaders we vote in must be credible leaders, must be leaders with a track record, must be leaders who stand for something, must be leaders who are real statesmen in this country, and not people who are just taking advantage of the situation in this country to say, oh, bottom-up approach, hustler, and we need leaders who have been tested over time to be on the side of wananchi, and not people who are just coming up with ambiguous agendas, which they themselves don't even believe in it. Yeah, that is why earlier on we were saying you cannot implement bottom-up approach, economic approach, if you don't deal with corruption. If you don't want people to talk about corruption, you cannot implement it. So this problem we are facing as a country now, with the increases in the prices of key commodities, it is because of the way we are managing our economy. In Parliament, we tried as much as possible to even remove taxes that they had put on essential items like unga and the others. But I'm even surprised that even after we remove taxes from those essential commodities, the prices are still gone up. Because one, there is an increase in VAT on cooking oil and cooking gas. So that affects the prices of ugali, it affects the prices of chapati and all that. So we are really in a tight situation as a country, because one, donor conditionalities, two, we have an ambitious budget which we must finance, and for us to finance that we have to increase taxes, and then overall problem of economic management. If we are borrowing too much, who is going to pay those debts?
We have to get a way to pay the debts.
We have to get a way to pay the debts, and the debts are going to be paid through taxes. So we must deal with the issue of debts, public debt. And it's a very serious issue. Very serious issue that we can't run away from.
Even as we speak about public debt, the government is planning to have another set of Eurobond.
Well, that is a challenge. It is a challenge. It is a challenge because even the budget that we passed recently, it has a deficit of around 900 billion. Where are they going to get that money? They have to borrow. So the challenge is an ambitious budget.
Yeah.
If their budget is ambitious, then you have to look for money to sustain it. How I wished we could just get a budget that we can manage.
Somebody say that you cut your coat according to your size.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And as we come to a close, Mheshimiwa, we have got governors who are serving their last term in office.
Yes.
And most of them have had some rough patches with their deputies.
Yeah.
And even if you look around, most of them are not seeing eye to eye. You know, the deputy is singing a different kind of tune and the governor is speaking a different kind of tune. So there is this case of governors refusing now to back their deputies, who during the last election campaigned as a team.
Well, that is a problem.
Yes.
In almost every county.
Yeah.
Except maybe a few counties that I've seen, like Kisumu, Kakamega, and maybe Makueni, and a few other places.
Yes.
But most of the counties, you find there is a dispute between the governor and the deputy governor. I have not really understood where it comes from.
Could it be a case of payback? The governor saying that, you know what, because you did not support me during my office and what have you, we have had wrangles, now it's my time for a payback.
Well, you know, also times change. And when times change, it changes with many other issues, including politics. You may have been my friend when we were vying together, and then along the way, we are no longer political friends. You have to look for new friends. Now, when that realization comes, then you start having that kind of problem. So that is normal in politics. But what is important is that I think a way has to be found out so that we ensure that the relationship between the governor and his deputy does not affect the work in the counties. Because most of the challenges we have in our counties is because the two are not able to work together amicably. And therefore a lot of programs in the county are affected. So this is a problem we need to fix, either through legislation or I don't know, so that we do not have that problem again. Yeah.
And now with the governors now coming out of office, and when we talk about economy, some of the senators or some of the MPs and some of the new contestants who are angling for these positions are saying that, you know what, you have to clear all the pending bills before you can transfer them to the next regime. Do we have money to do that right now, even to the counties? Because most counties are not able to meet their revenue collections.
Pending bills is an issue.
Yes.
And I think I agree with those who are saying pending bills needs to be prioritized. The payment of pending bills. And I think that's one of the resolutions that Parliament made, that focus needs to be on payment of pending bills. And we recommended that we even want to have a pending bill fund at Treasury to ensure that pending bills are prioritized. Because if you don't pay bills, that affects many other aspects.
And even the services.
It affects the suppliers. Because some people have gone to the bank, borrowed money to come and undertake a project, and then you take several years to pay them. People have been auctioned because of the problem of pending bills. Some people have died because of stress arising from pending bills. So and again, when you don't pay people and they have used their money, it also affects the economy down there. The multiplier effect affects the economy down there in the village and all that places. So I think I want to agree that payment of pending bills should be prioritized
before the next election.
And in fact, we need to change the Public Finance Management Act to say the first charge should be payment of debts. Before you do any other thing, lipa madeni kwanza.
Could it be a reason that some of the governors are now just running away from it intentionally because they know, our time is up and now we are going home?
Well, it varies. Some counties are doing well in terms of
revenue
processing pending bills, in terms of revenue, so they don't have a problem. But there are other counties which are really struggling with pending bills.
Yeah.
Because you have to pay pending bills before you do other programs. So you find that the money you get, it's all going to pending bills. There is no development happening. And that is why some of us supported the amendment in the BBI, that we need to increase the revenue allocation from 15% to 35%, so that at least we are able to break from that cycle that we have found ourselves in. Clear the pending bills and now start doing development.
Yeah. What's your take on devolution to this far? The first crop of governors, they've had their fair share, their taste, the experiment. They would say that they're experimenting the whole process of devolution. What's your stake and your own arithmetic and just your measure or where your devolution is right now?
I think we are getting better. We are getting better with the time. It is not right for me to say devolution is a bad thing. Devolution is a good thing. When we go to the villages, we see devolution at work. Even some of the markets that had died.
Never existed.
You are beginning to see some life in those markets. You see pubs have been opened, hotels have been opened. You see some activity happening. So that is courtesy of devolution. So it is a good thing. But there are challenges, of course, the corruption, some people taking away money to do their own stuff. But as we go on, it's going to improve. Remember, in the first term, we had challenges. Second part of devolution, we are seeing some improvement. So maybe after 2022, we'll see an even better devolution system as we come up with the laws, as we experiment and we go on. Remember in Nigeria, when they started the federal system, the first time most of the governors were arrested.
You know how the system was working there?
Because of corruption, but they have since improved. And the system is working so well. So even here in Kenya, we get to a point where some of the challenges we are having in devolution will be sorted out, and Kenyans will be able to get maximum benefit from devolution. So it is there, we are getting benefits, but we can get a lot more benefits with the time.
Because if you look at the terms of employment and devolution, when it comes to devolution, most of the people who were mostly employed in urban centers had to migrate to other devolved kind of units. And the moment now we are getting to the next general election now, and we have got members of parliament like you who are oversighting the executive. Some of them would want to come, leave their position and say that I want to go to the governor's seat, probably because of particular reasons. The question is, which position are you angling for come 2022? Well,
I have made a decision, and I want to represent the people of Vihiga in the Senate in 2022, because there are a lot of challenges in Vihiga County in terms of oversight, and I think that I'll be able to make a very positive contribution to enhancement of the oversight within the county, so that people of Vihiga get maximum benefit from devolution process. And I have a plan, I have a program of work that I intend to do when I become the senator of Vihiga. The good thing is that I have experience, having served as a member of parliament in very strategic committees, and also being a member of the House Business. I have acquired experience which will come in handy to the people of Vihiga as their senator. And I'm very aggressive about it. I'm working so hard. I'm meeting different groups of people to try and lay down my strategies. And I think everything is working on well.
Okay. That is a clear declaration on a national television, and we'll keep you to account, because our work is also to give you an oversight role on this end as a media. All right, people of Vihiga, now you've seen for yourself and you've heard for yourself. Mheshimiwa, let me just cut you short there and go to the Supreme Court, where we have Dr. Fred Ojiambo now making his presentation. Remember, the Chief Justice, Martha Koome, is making her maiden appearance at the Supreme Court today to hear some of the cases right there. Mheshimiwa, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Of course, we look forward to having you more and more. And